Oil in a Creek Mystery, a mini true story about a lab and oil in a creek. In the late 1970s, I was working in a lab at a factory in Pennsylvania. Most days were already packed with more work than I could reasonably get done. An incident was about to happen, an incident that became a mystery for me to solve. Then the Environmental Protection Agency showed up. Someone had spotted an oil film floating on the surface of the creek that day. That was all it took. The EPA installed oil traps under the small bridge near our guard post and started levying fines of over $1,000 a day. Not long after, Bill, our laboratory manager, came to me with what he called bad news. It wasn't just bad, it was miserable. I was now responsible for sampling all 11 of our effluent discharge pipes along the creek, 3 times a day, every weekday. The creek ran along a steep bank choked with brush and sticker bushes. To get to the first discharge pipe, I had to climb down through thorns with a carrier full of sample jars. By the time I reached the bottom, I was already scratched up. Then I had to fight my way along the bank from pipe to pipe, collecting samples before climbing up and taking everything back to the lab. Rain made it worse. The bank turned into mud, and I would slip and slide my way down, coming back soaking wet and filthy dirty. And it didn't matter, morning, midday, and end of day. I had to go back out and do it again. Inside the lab, I ran basic tests like pH and a couple of other checks. I tried to determine if any oil was present. I also took samples of the creek water itself. Day after day, I found nothing in our discharge samples, no oil, and no out-of-range pH. But the pressure didn't let up. Ron, my direct supervisor, and Bill were on me constantly. The fines were adding up, and the assumption was that we were the source. One day, while I was out behind our factory building, I heard some noise behind me. I walked over to take a look over the fence. I saw a couple of men dumping what looked like drums of used oil directly onto the ground. I reported it to Ron and Bill, but we still needed proof that the contamination wasn't coming from us. So I kept working at it. I isolated some of the oil from the creek water samples and ran it through the infrared spectrometer. The IR spectra didn't match anything in our database, none of the oils or lubricants that we use. I started going through reference books of IR spectra of oils, page by page, looking for a match. Eventually, I found something very close, an oil associated with printer's ink. That seemed kind of odd to me. I went back to the samples and did some more prep work. This time, I found something else, fine black particles like that of carbon black. Now, it made sense. There was a printing operation upstream that could be a source. I rechecked everything and created a final report. Bill, the lab manager, was ecstatic. Each day's samples showed no oil from our discharge pipes on any of the days. The type of oil was not something our factory used. Within a couple of days, the EPA stopped the fines, the oil traps were removed. Thankfully, the pressure was finally off. And me, I was so glad I didn't have to climb down that muddy bank 3 times a day anymore. The end.